If you can't find 10 minutes in the morning, you don't have a life. That's how I see it now. Before the sun even rises, I dedicate that time to something bigger than myself. And I can't even put into words the kind of power I get from starting my day with clarity, not with excuses. That moment, when everything is still, is when I step into who I want to be. Happiness doesn't come from constantly grinding at work or obsessing over the next big win. Real happiness, at least in my experience, comes from living your life, not just building a business or chasing results. And for me, that starts with how I begin my morning. Whether it's for 10 minutes, a minute, or even 20 seconds. Every single morning, I step into a space that I've made sacred. It's a quiet room in my house. Nothing fancy, just a small area for meditation. I've got my books there, a few candles. I light them, I read, I breathe, and I connect to something deeper, something spiritual. That simple practice fills me up with love and energy before I face the outside world. I'm not saying this to sound poetic. I'm saying it because it works. I show up better when I start my day with intention. Lesson 1, self-alignment. Tony Robbins talks about the power of priming, setting your mindset before the world sets it for you. That's the game changer. If you want to stop living reactively, you have to decide how you're going to think, feel, and move before your day begins. Lesson 2, regaining control. Mel Robbins nailed it when she said, "Start your day with control." Design a routine that puts you in charge of your mood, your focus, your energy. That means no more hitting snooze. No more rolling over and scrolling through social media. No more letting the world decide what kind of day you're going to have. I used to wake up and check my phone immediately. Emails, news, notifications, other people's agendas. It's a mental hijack. I realized that every time I started my day like that, I was basically giving up control of my mind before I even got out of bed. Now my rule is simple. I get up when the alarm rings. No snoozing, no just 5 more minutes. When I do that, I feel like I've already won a small battle against the lazy version of myself. And trust me, that small win compounds. The next thing I do is figure out the 2 most important things I need to get done that day before I touch my phone. These aren't just tasks. These are priorities that move the needle in my life. It might be something like finishing a client project, finally hitting the gym, or having a tough but necessary conversation with someone I care about. Whatever they are, I name them out loud or write them down. That way, I'm not letting distractions sneak in and pull me off course. Bad days usually start with small, dumb decisions. Hitting snooze, getting sucked into news headlines, watching someone else's life on Instagram and wondering why they look happier, richer, more stylish, more everything. That noise will rot your energy from the inside out. If you start your day looking at other people, you'll spend the rest of the day feeling like you're behind. But if you begin your morning by checking in with yourself, by taking ownership, you'll carry that focus into everything you do. You'll move with purpose. You'll start noticing that your days don't just happen to you anymore, you create them. Working out every single day changed the game for me. Even 10 to 20 minutes of movement in the morning shifts my energy. Richard Branson swears by it. He says one of the reasons he's been so successful is because he prioritizes his body. Makes total sense to me now. When you take care of yourself physically, your brain works better, longer. You've got more stamina, more clarity, more resilience. You put it simply, if you can give an hour or 2 each day to your health, you'll be productive for 5 or 6 hours more than usual. It's not a time sacrifice, it's a time investment. That's why I joined a fitness group that travels from city to city. Health isn't just a personal obsession anymore. It's something I try to bring into the lives of others. Helping people get healthier is one of the most meaningful things I've committed to. You can't be your best in life or in business if your body is falling apart. Goggins is another one who lives this to the extreme. The man hasn't missed a day of running since 2016. That alone says everything. He wakes up around 4 a.m., drinks coffee, then runs before the world is even awake. He also lifts weights and stretches 2 hours every night, no excuses. He says something that hit me hard. Recovery is crucial. We push ourselves all day mentally, physically, emotionally. If we don't carve out time to be still, to listen to ourselves, we break. He treats that quiet nighttime routine as sacred. No phones, no distractions, just him and the silence. He talks about how stress gets trapped in our bodies, especially in our lower backs. I didn't think much about this until I noticed my own body was tight all the time, and I wasn't even doing half of what he was doing. Now I stretch more, listen more, slow down when I need to. That kind of discipline brings clarity, not just strength. These days, I usually wake up around 7. I'm not a 4 a.m. guy yet, but maybe one day. I go to bed pretty late, around 1 a.m., which I know isn't ideal. I start the morning with a glass of water, or sometimes just coffee. I wish I could say I always have a full breakfast, but most days I don't. Sometimes someone makes it for me. Sometimes I just grab something quick like a protein bar, or, let's be real, a Mars bar. Not proud of that one, but hey, progress over perfection. My ideal breakfast? An omelet or something with real protein. I'm working on making that happen more often. But even when my diet slips, I don't let my mindset slip. I still start my day with intention. That's non-negotiable. Don't just watch or read this and move on. Take a minute to think about what part of it actually landed with you. What's one small thing you can start doing tomorrow morning? Not someday. Not next week. Tomorrow. If you're inspired by something but don't take action, your chances of real change are around 35%. But if you get inspired and make a plan, that number jumps to 90%. And if you go even further, share your plan with someone else, you're at 95%. That's almost a guarantee. So tell someone. Write it down. Start simple. Wake up on time, set 2 priorities, and move your body. I'm not here to sell you a perfect morning. I'm here to tell you that taking back those first 10 minutes might be the most important thing you ever do. Everything else builds from there. So yeah, I wake up, I move, I sit quietly, I breathe, and I start my day before the world even knows I'm awake. And you know what? That changes everything. It's like I claim the day before it even starts. And when you do that consistently, you stop feeling like life's just happening to you. You're not reacting anymore. You're creating. You're choosing how your day goes, instead of just getting pulled around by notifications, people's moods, and whatever chaos is flying around out there. I remember when I didn't have a routine, just kind of rolled out of bed whenever, checked my phone before even brushing my teeth, and let the day dictate my energy. That felt like crap. You can't build anything solid that way. You can't trust yourself. Because every morning you're starting from zero again, scrambling, searching for direction. It's like trying to run a marathon with your shoes untied and no map. And here's something else I've learned. The little decisions in the first 10 minutes of your day set the tone for the next 10 hours. You hit snooze. That's a signal. You've already told yourself comfort matters more than commitment. You reach for your phone. Boom. You're already outsourcing your mental state to whatever the internet throws at you. So now, instead of chasing dopamine on Instagram, I sit down and ask myself 2 simple questions. What do I need to move forward today? And what am I avoiding that actually matters? Just 2 things. Not 20. Not a to-do list that looks like punishment. Just 2 priorities. And they're always personal. One is about growth. The other is about facing resistance. Sometimes that means hitting the gym, even when I don't want to. Sometimes it means making that call I've been putting off. Sometimes it's just having a real conversation with someone I've been emotionally distant from. It's not about being productive just for the sake of it. It's about being honest, being real with myself. People ask me a lot about motivation, how to get it, how to keep it. And I think motivation is way overrated. What matters more is integrity, doing what you said you'd do, keeping the promises you make to yourself when no one's watching. That's where self-respect is built, not from hype, from consistency. Tony Robbins has a great line. You don't get your goals, you get your standards. And I feel that. If your standard is, I wake up late, scroll for an hour, then panic, that's the life you'll keep getting. But if your standard is, I wake up with purpose and start with what matters, then slowly, sometimes painfully slow, you start to see changes. And yeah, this kind of discipline takes time. I didn't wake up one day and become some Zen master with abs and a smoothie. I stumbled through it. I screwed up a lot. I still do. But now the bounce back is quicker. That's the key. I don't stay down as long. And that alone makes a huge difference. Now let's talk about energy. Not just physical energy, but emotional energy, mental focus. I used to think I could grind my way through everything. Outwork everyone. Sleep 4 hours. Hustle till I drop. But that was just insecurity disguised as ambition. The truth is, real power comes from restoration, from alignment, from knowing when to push and when to pause. I learned that the hard way. Burned out more times than I care to admit. And one day, I just had to ask myself, what's the point of building something impressive if I'm miserable doing it? If I lose myself in the process? That's when I started really taking care of my body. Not just to look good, but to feel strong, clear, capable. That's when I started making movement a non-negotiable part of my day. Whether it's lifting weights, running, stretching for an hour. Whatever it is, I do it because it reminds me that I'm alive, that I have agency, that I can direct my state. Richard Branson once said, "Taking care of your body helps you take care of your business." And he's right. When you feel good physically, everything changes. Your brain works better. Your mood is more stable. You're less reactive. You show up with more presence, more focus, more power. And let's be real, discipline with your body leaks into every other area. You learn to say no. You learn to delay gratification. You learn to push past discomfort. And all those micro lessons transfer into how you handle stress, relationships, leadership, money, everything. But here's the part most people miss. It's not about punishment. It's not about grinding yourself into dust. It's about listening, tuning in, understanding what your body needs, rest, challenge, hydration, movement, stillness, and giving it that. Not as a reward, but as a baseline. Because if you don't take care of the vessel, the mission doesn't matter. Then there's this guy, David Goggins. Complete beast. I used to think he was crazy, running ultramarathons, doing insane workouts, pushing through pain like a machine. But when you listen to him talk, you realize it's not about the workouts. It's about winning the war inside. That's where the real challenge is. He says the hardest thing he ever did was stretch for 2 hours every night. Not the pull-ups, not the SEAL training, but stretching. Why? Because it forced him to slow down, to feel, to sit in stillness. And that's where the emotional wounds hide. That's where the stories you tell yourself live. And unless you go in there and face them, they run your life. So I started doing the same. Not 2 hours, I'm not Goggins, but enough to notice the difference. Enough to feel the tightness, the resistance, and to breathe into it. Some nights it's boring. Some nights it's emotional. But every night it's healing. That's the kind of recovery no supplement can give you. And let me tell you about the 4 a.m. hour. I know, people roll their eyes when they hear that. Who wakes up at 4 a.m.? But for me, it's sacred. Not because it's trendy, but because it's quiet. Nobody's texting. Nobody's posting. The world hasn't kicked into gear yet. And in that stillness, I can think. I can plan. I can create. I can just be. Some mornings I write. Some mornings I do cardio in the dark. Some mornings I just sip coffee and sit with my thoughts. But every morning, I own that time. And because of that, the rest of the day belongs to me too. I don't always crush it. I still procrastinate sometimes. I still get thrown off by life. But I've built a foundation. And that makes all the difference. Because even when the day goes sideways, I know how to come back. I know how to center myself. I've built a system. Not just a routine, but a rhythm that keeps me grounded.